Hello, friends. You are on the World Insight channel, and today we have prepared something special for you. This video will be unique. Nothing like this has ever been on YouTube before. Are you ready? Then let's not waste any time. Let's get started. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like in advance. It will help us create even more interesting content. Let's go. One of the beliefs of the nomadic Maasai people in Kenya states that the rain god Ngai gave all the cattle to this people, so everyone who also owns cattle once stole it from the Maasai. Andorra is the only country in the world where postal items are free. And until 1927, there were no post offices in Andorra at all, and it was necessary to cross the border to the nearest post office in Spain or France. In Chinese, yuan is called the basic unit of any currency. For example, the US dollar is mei yuan. Chocolate is not bad for your teeth. Moreover, it slows down the development of caries. However, we are talking about dark chocolate, not milk chocolate. Ice is not equally cold. The temperature of the ice of the Antarctic glaciers reaches minus 60 degrees. The ice of the Greenland glaciers is much warmer, on average, 28 degrees, and completely warm ice with a temperature of about 0 lies on the tops of the Alps. Diamonds burn. Burning a diamond is easier than its gold or platinum setting. At temperatures above 900 degrees, diamonds burn without leaving a trace. The compass needle points not to the North Pole, but to the magnetic pole of the Earth. However, they are more than 530 kilometers apart from each other. The distortion becomes greater the closer the traveler moves north, and on the line between the magnetic and north poles, the compass needle generally points exactly south. The speed of light is not constant, and depends on the medium in which it propagates. In a vacuum, the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers. In diamond, about 124,000 kilometers. And in sodium, cooled to 269 degrees, less than 60 kilometers. Swiss economists have proven that smokers do not increase healthcare costs. Excessive government spending on maintaining the health of smokers is more than offset by reducing pension costs. Smokers simply die earlier. In 1960, the construction of the Great Australian Wall was completed in Australia. The wall is about 2 meters high and 5,120 kilometers long and completely crosses the continent. Only in this way were Australian farmers finally able to protect their sheep herd from attacks by dingo dogs. With an average body size of 3 millimeters, a flea can jump a distance of up to 32 centimeters. With such jumping ability, a person could jump across 2 football fields. Hair and nails do not continue to grow after death. This is a legend. Immediately after death, the division of all cells in the body stops. The amount of water preserved in the glaciers of the globe is 7 times greater than the content of all freshwater bodies and rivers. If all the glaciers melted, the level of the world ocean would rise by 60 meters. The tonic effect of ginseng is well known. However, from a scientific point of view, ginseng is no more useful than parsley or celery. Water extinguishes fire by forming water vapor. The steam envelops the source of the flame and prevents oxygen from entering. Heated water turns into steam faster, so it is better to extinguish the fire with boiling water. The communication system of dolphins is so developed that each dolphin has its own name, to which it responds when addressed by other dolphins. Of the 400 species of venomous snakes known to science, only 9 species live in Europe, and there are no venomous snakes in Ireland at all. It is believed that St. Patrick drove them all out of the island. It is warmer at the North Pole than at the South Pole. The North Pole is at sea level, and the South Pole is at an altitude of 3 kilometers above sea level. In addition, the North Pole is illuminated by the sun for almost a week longer than the South Pole. Tomatoes, eggplants, and sweet peppers were brought to Europe only in the middle of the 15th century. Imagine Caucasian and Mediterranean cuisine without these ingredients. In 1960, Lake Baikal, in terms of water volume, exceeded the Aral Sea by 20 times. In 2010, by 320 times. In Ukrainian, the Milky Way is Chumatsky Shliak. In ancient times in Ukraine, Chumaks were called salt traders. Apparently, on their way home from Tavria, they scattered salt across the sky, and the Big Dipper in Ukraine is still often called David's carriage, David's chariot. In May 2010, the court of the Lithuanian city of Klaipėda recognize the swastika as a historical heritage of Lithuania. In Germany, the public display of the swastika is punishable by imprisonment for up to 2 years. A cow can be forced to climb the stairs, but it is impossible to force it to descend. The word money comes from the Turkic tenge, a small silver coin in the countries of the ancient East. Currently, tenge is the monetary unit in Kazakhstan. More than half of the world's population has never seen snow. By the way, you could also hear about this fact in our video 10 Interesting and Short Facts, which was released on the Y channel in the 10 Most playlist. The famous Encyclopedia Britannica has been published in the USA, not in Great Britain, since 1901. During the Prohibition era in the USA, half of the prison inmates were violators of this particular law. The longest animal on Earth is not a blue whale, but a jellyfish, the lion's mane. Its tentacles reach 37 in length. The most dead reservoir on Earth is in which some fungi and bacteria exist, and the Lake of Death in Sicily, from the bottom of which sources of concentrated sulfuric acid beat. There is its own dead lake in Russia. The mineralization of Lake Elton in the Volgograd region reaches 500 grams per liter, which is 1.5 times higher than the concentration of salts in the Dead Sea. The Italian cardinal, the chief librarian of the Vatican Library, Giuseppe Mifun, spoke freely in 9 languages and could understand almost as many more, although he never left Italy. In 1830, Alexander Ivanovich Turgenev published his poems in Russian in Russia. It is claimed that once the cardinal learned a new language in one night in order to take the confession of a foreign criminal sentenced to death in the morning. The only sea on the planet without shores is the Sargasso Sea. It is named so because of the abundance of floating sargassum algae, which sailors call sea grapes. It is also called the graveyard of ships. It is in the Sargasso Sea that most of the Bermuda Triangle is located. On March 30th, 1867, Russia sold Alaska to America for $7,200,000, or less than 5 cents per hectare at today's prices. This is about $110 million. 30 years later, gold was discovered in the Klondike, and the reserves of oil and gas deposits discovered in the 20th century are estimated at $180 billion. The city of Stavropol on the Volga in 1964 was renamed Togliatti in honor of the General Secretary of the Italian Communist Party, Palmiro Togliatti. Among people who publish marriage announcements, 35% are already married. The Statue of Liberty is not located in New York. Liberty Island, on which it is installed, is geographically located in the state of New Jersey. Only in 1992 did the Vatican officially recognize that the Earth revolves around the sun. Haircuts do not affect the rate of hair growth. The fuel consumption of a passenger ocean liner averages 40 tons per 100 kilometers of track. The plastic pieces on the ends of the laces are called tips or aglets. If you try to cool a room by opening the refrigerator, the temperature in the room will not decrease, but will rise even higher. The flow of warm air into the chamber will cause the refrigeration unit to operate at a double load, which will lead to its excessive heating. Mozart did not live in poverty at all. He received generous fees, for example. For 1 hour of piano lessons, he billed 2 guilders. For comparison, his maid received 12 guilders a year. However, due to an extremely wasteful lifestyle, he left a mountain of debts and was indeed buried in a pauper's grave. The total length of bookshelves in the U.S. Library of Congress exceeds 850 kilometers. The library employs 3,600 people and houses over 40 million books and 60 million manuscripts. For the discovery of the bee language, the Austrian zoologist Karl von Frisch was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1973. It turned out that bees communicate with each other using a complex dance language. With the help of many intricate movements, the scout bee reports not only the distance to the nearest nectar, but also its location. Many scientists denied her the presence of such a complex and peculiar language. However, in 1992, the doubts of skeptics were dispelled. A bee robot created by a Danish scientist accurately repeated all the figures described by Frisch in the dance, and the bees flew exactly where the robot pointed them. The deadliest disease is rabies. One case of survival after this disease is a fact. Hedgehogs are predators. Their favorite food is frogs. worms, and insects. A hedgehog does not eat apples and mushrooms, and even more so does not bring them on its thorns. The very popular game of checkers in the USA is a mixture of checkers and chess. Jellyfish stings are transparent. The name canary originated from the Canary Islands. Every second, the sun becomes lighter by 4 million tons. A mass equal to Earth burns in 50 billion years. However, even with such extravagance, the sun will not fade for at least 5 billion years. Does not contain cholesterol is nothing more than a publicity stunt. Cholesterol can only be found in animal fat. In addition, the harm of dietary cholesterol is greatly exaggerated because 20% of this essential substance comes from food. The other 80% is produced by our body.